Welcome to DashBoard, fellas.
Good evening. How you doing?
Hello?
Okay, I suppose. It's cold.
It's very cold.
It's super cold.
Yeah, we're all here. We've come together. We suffered. We couldn't wear shorts outside, which was offensive to all of us.
No. Good old Canadian winter.
Yeah.
I'm still only partly Canadian because I keep all my temperatures in Fahrenheit, and my car said it was 3 degrees Fahrenheit on the way here. So for our American friends, that is quite cold.
I thought you were about to do the calculation on the fly. and I was
like
going to be really
minus
impressed.
30? No.
I don't know how it goes backwards.
29, right?
Minus 29.
30, add 33. Yeah.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Divide by 2 and something. That's all I
Yeah,
remember.
right? All right. Cold.
Yeah, bitter.
Yeah.
It's bitter. I shoveled this morning and my fingertips nearly... It was a touch and go there. No pun intended. Let's start tonight's conversation by getting an update on Mike's Cayenne, because there has been significant progress.
Significant. So
Fill us in, man.
got her back last week. New brakes, new struts, lift kit on,
Brakes are nice.
new wheels. Brakes are beautiful.
Pictures have been shared. It looks
Couple pictures have
excellent.
been
It's got a
shared.
roof rack on. I
It's got
saw.
a roof rack. It
Oh,
was
just
up
wait till we
Saturday.
get into that subject.
Roof basket is on.
Yeah.
20-minute job, turn 2.5 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
Is that operator error, or I'm looking at you?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say.
I say
it is-
design error.
Oh,
myself.
design flaw.
Design flaw, yeah.
It is
wasn't
the most-
engineered that well.
It is the most annoying roof rack I've ever, living in the Volkswagen atmosphere, they're normally pretty easy. You have like a standard tool, you twist it on. This was like in another
No.
league of
Charlie did
frustrating.
warn me.
Yeah.
He did warn me. He said this thing's
Temperamental.
it's bugger to get on and off. So
Did it help that it was minus whatever it was?
no. And let's just add that a good neighbor of mine said, "Hey, I do have a heated garage with lots of space, all the tools you want. Why don't
Is
you
that
bring
right?
it down here?" We looked at it. No, it's going to be a 20-minute job. We don't need it.
Oh, so you suffered
we
in the
suffered
cold.
through it.
Yeah,
And we were in his
In my
garage, so it was like
garage, but
probably,
still unheated.
zero-ish.
that's too cold to tinker.
It was okay.
Yeah, we got it on.
Just
Looks
for-
good, I think. I'm happy.
Tell them how many bolts on the roof rack.
There was 12.
12 bolts. You would think that like putting a nut and a washer on 12 bolts would be like, yeah, I'm done every bolt takes 30 seconds.
Sure.
It's a savage job. It's
Three
incredible.
men, we couldn't do it. I had to get my wife involved.
We did. Yeah, we needed small hands.
On a step ladder.
Big alignment problems? Is that
No, zero. That
No.
was actually remarkably
Just
simple.
Limited space.
Wow.
Limited space.
What is the top track though? Is it like an M-lock track?
There's a channel in the roof of and it's like a T slotted.
Yep, like an Allen key,
bolt.
like an Allen kind of thing. Twists in there.
No,
slide
it's
it down and twist
just a
back.
flat washer.
Bar. Yeah.
And it just goes in. It's a T, and then you
Yeah.
put a nut on it.
Yep. That's it.
But the problem is getting your fingers in there to tighten that nut up.
It is staggering how difficult it is to get your
Yeah.
finger in there.
Like while
so
it's loose,
hard.
it's fine. You can lift it up a bit and get, you have 2 inches of clearance. But as soon as you start tightening that down,
Yes.
clearances go. Like so much you can't even get a wrench in there at this point.
That's the problem. Let me just. May I jump in?
You go ahead.
There was a moment we're using a what type of wrench was that? It's
Gear
a
wrench.
A gear wrench.
TM.
Okay, I don't know the official name. We're using this wrench where, like, as you continue to drive the nut down, you're feeling good, quarter turn at a time. You're like, we're getting there, and then all of a sudden we realize, oh, there's no gap between the roof rack and the wrench
can't
to
get
take
this
the
out.
wrench
Yeah.
out.
It pulls
So
the
now it's
bolt
trapped.
higher.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
You're
yeah.
stuck in there.
What we do is get a second wrench in this tiny space with like 4 hands, and we awkwardly turn the nut the opposite way.
That happened more than
Twice?
it should
3
have.
times?
More than it should have.
Yeah.
Thought after the first one we would have learned our lesson, but no.
Yeah.
We did it 2 more times.
Somebody was keen to overturn those nuts.
was not anybody in this room.
So
Let's just say
what I've concluded, Dylan, is we were right the first time. There was some operator error at
We
play
knew
here.
it.
Yeah.
We could see it coming.
But I think it's important that the photo,
does look
and
good.
it looks really good.
It does.
Yeah. And it fits the car beautifully. Okay,
I think
so
it looks great.
Will they put anything up there?
Well, no.
Who knows? Christmas tree.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
oh, that's a good photo.
Yeah.
Also, he has like 100 wheels.
Yeah.
So we can easily find.
You could put 2.
I can put the wheels up
You're
there
right.
now. At least 2.
I was going to just say, shocking. Like you mentioned, your old VW Life or
Yeah.
two lay bars. They have a shockingly low weight rating. Like you can only put less than 100 pounds on some of those.
Yeah, maybe.
This one's
Can you
heavy duty,
really?
though.
Yeah, so you'd be all right.
To be fair, I only really ever carried a bike and my water skis here and there, back and forth to the cottage,
There you
that
go.
kind of stuff.
But your bars are parallel with the car,
Correct.
not perpendicular.
No, perpendicular.
So those will hold all the weight.
No, they're built. They're parallel. They run the length of the car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
like the other crossbars that only hold like 100
Oh, yeah,
pounds,
yeah,
they're
exactly.
perpendicular.
And the fitment of that box, honestly, like to the credit, other than the bolts, was like perfect. Like we just dropped it right into place. You're like, oh, this
Yeah.
works perfectly. You just couldn't get the nut in there. It was such a small space.
So talk to me about aesthetically. We all agree it looks really, really good. So kudos there. What do we think about driving impressions? Feel? I mean, I heard some comments that it was not from you per se, but it's bigger now.
It's bigger. I don't mind that. You can tell while you're driving, it's bigger. It stops. Love that.
That's an improvement.
It is
But
like night and day.
It drives like a truck. I know Dylan says this thing's not a truck, but it drives like a truck now.
Okay.
Like it's rough. And that could be just because they're generic VW struts on there. They're not necessarily Porsche items.
Oh, interesting.
So
What do we put?
I doubt
Touareg?
that matters.
Touareg struts on it.
Oh, interesting.
So-
That's
Okay.
one idea.
I'm sure it's the
It's
same.
definitely
It's all
rougher.
just changing the geometry,
Yeah.
of it, right? Like
Yeah.
once you take
So,
anything off a factory,
Steering's a little twitchier, I would say, and that's probably because it's higher. And same thing, steering geometry's a little
Yeah,
different
yeah.
now. So
once
I
you get
drove it.
once you
I
get the
didn't-
bigger tires,
I
on
didn't
there,
find
that'll
it
sort
twitchy.
of-
I drove
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do agree that it definitely feels truckish,
Yeah.
but I don't feel that as any like negative. You're sort of aware of that as soon as you get in. When you get in, it's higher, so you just kind of feel it. You're going to put your butt on the seat, and you're like, oh, we're going up high now.
And like I noticed this too. I mentioned it actually to my wife on the weekend. We were driving. Like the frost is just set in here. All the roads are in the absolute worst shape that they're going to be.
true.
Oh, they're brutal, aren't
Everything is rough right now. And when you get those big off-roady balloon tires,
should
30 psi,
air them down
yeah,
to 25.
You'll get a
and-
little comfort out of them.
Yeah, I
for
think
sure.
so. I'm not too concerned.
And I think you went to the wheel place today to look at.
Oh yeah.
I
because
may have.
Mike is. Maybe it's my word, Mr. Indecisive about wheels and colors. So you went to the place today, which I thought was a
Understatement.
huge achievement. You went there.
That was a big deal. So
and
Oh, so Kate, are you going to tell us or no?
that's all I just went there.
He was there.
I didn't.
I actually
No.
asked this question, and he said, "No, I was just there." I'm
I
like,
was
hold on,
just
you
there.
didn't bring
I'm
anything
like,
or
hey,
buy
I just wanted
anything.
to see samples of the colors. Here's our colors. What's it going to cost me? Okay, I'll bring them back in the next few
So
days.
tell us, what is it going to cost?
Oh, they send you home with colors.
No, like they have sample rims on the
Yeah.
wall. So I'm just like, okay, I want this 1A, whatever. Give me 4 of those.
What are 4-1A going to cost?
$650.
That's not bad.
Not bad.
yeah, that's
Okay.
that's
2-day
fine.
turnaround. That's pretty
Ooh,
quick.
that's
Yeah, they
really
are
fast.
quick there.
Okay.
yeah.
And did they? Because I called them once on something, and they said, "Oh no, just to be clear, this is powder coating. Paint is a whole other ball of
Yeah,
wax."
this is
and-
powder coated.
Yeah, that's
which
fine.
is fine.
Yeah, totally
It's just
fine.
that They
Yeah.
they wanted me to know that painting is much more expensive and time consuming. So
Interesting. I
was like,
didn't ask. So
Do you have to strip the tires off first?
no, that includes them doing
Oh,
it.
really?
And-
Yeah.
and-
Really,
that's
they pull
great.
the rubber.
Yeah, yeah.
They
Okay.
pull the rubber, yeah.
And they balance in the whole deal, I believe.
Well,
So
I'm not
gonna-
going to put the rubber back on, right?
right.
I'll
Oh,
probably
they
just-
remount
Oh, you're
everything?
gonna-
They will remount, yeah.
Really?
So is it
didn't know
worth
that.
you buying the tires in advance and taking them in, or I guess it doesn't really matter. If it's included in the price, it's a win. But
I think it costs extra to remount.
Ah, okay,
but
okay.
Yeah, fair
I'm
enough.
not too concerned about that.
okay,
Wow, so lots of progress here. It was a bit
coming.
of a stalemate for a while, but now
And then,
we're
hold on. Let's not skip over the fact, too. We saw him at a decal place.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
that
where I
as
was going
well.
to go.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot
Right?
about that.
We didn't cover
No.
We got
So-
into that last
Yeah.
week, but
The problem is I got to have
visited.
one before the other. I want either
Right.
the decals to match the wheels, which is probably easier.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it?
I think
I don't
so,
know that.
because again,
Decals first, maybe?
Again, if I do the decals, then they have to do like a custom color to match the decals.
Oh dear.
Oh, I see. He charges more if he has to mix something.
That's right.
Oh, I never
So
thought about
then
that.
If
Okay.
I get the wheels done, then Andrew can just print the decals I want.
He'll find
Yeah,
you.
so you got to go rims first.
Rims first.
There's a bazillion wraps you can choose from. Get some
100%.
close, right?
Yeah, there's lots.
Or vinyl, whatever they are.
Lots. Doesn't have to. It's got to be close. Won't
so
be
like-
exact.
So we're getting to the, 70-yard line here?
Oh,
Probably
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
fourth and goal. No, not quite. Maybe third and 20.
I got the feeling you were sort of in. It's my view was you were sort of in that desert wasteland between mods.
Definitely.
And you're like you're anxious for the next one, but you're not ready to do it, or you're waiting on some bolt or some nut or something
Exactly.
that's holding you up. And I know exactly how painful that is because to do the wheels on my Cayenne, just the wheels and tires took like 4 weeks by the time you got the wheels
it
here.
Did feel
and
like a long time. Yeah.
yeah, it's painful. So that wasteland, I was sensitive to your. I could feel your feelings.
And I'm not too much in a hurry. Like it is still winter here. Like
Yeah.
if it's ready for spring, another 6, 8, 10 weeks, I'm good.
10 weeks. Whoa, watch yourself.
When is the Wyerton Willie thing?
That's
I hope it's tomorrow.
Is that
That's
February 1st?
That's a couple weeks from now. No,
Is that the first? I don't even remember.
February 2nd.
Before the Super Bowl?
I don't know.
I won't.
I don't know this, but
Yeah.
it feels early to me. Because if he sees it, it's what, another
6 weeks or something. I don't remember the math,
Maybe
but
you're right, because
So there you go.
okay.
But March has a tendency in this area to be a real savage month. You can go from like 15 degrees and sunshine to the next day, lake effect, 3 feet of snow. March can be frustrating.
Yep.
You can start to get a taste of it and then it falls away.
But usually by like March 20th, you're golden.
Getting close.
I don't
you might,
know that
you might get a
exactly.
flurry or two.
Yeah.
But you're not getting buried.
No, you're on the downside for sure.
I was actually looking through my
Upside.
thanks to Apple, they always try to feed you those sentimental memories on your phone. And one of mine was like January, 19th 2 years ago, and I had the mint car on the driveway and it was like sunshine. Beautiful.
Nice.
Whereas to describe outside our window at the moment, it's deep in snow, covered in ice, salt,
Yeah.
cold. This feels like a real winter for the first time in forever.
For at
Yeah,
least
it does.
3 years, yeah.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I've been seeing snowmobiles out when I'm traveling around, and that reads to me that that's definitely winter because I don't think I saw those guys for a while.
Not in Southwestern
No, it's
Ontario.
been a
Yeah.
rough go for them.
To go even farther, I used to mock them for spending the money.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, you spent 20 grand on that. Now you can't use it."
Yeah.
Anyway, that's exciting news.
Good news.
Progress is good,
Something's happening.
Yeah.
and the
I
roof
like
box
that.
really adds the look.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we just
Little
need to get.
wins.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all
they
steps.
add-
It's all
they add
steps.
up.
Exactly.
Yeah. Let's pivot slightly.
Yeah.
Because a friend of a friend of a friend has asked us to provide feedback on, forgive me, fellas, but you're more up to speed. Asked us to provide feedback on lease exit options. Does that make sense?
I think leasing in general, lease exit options, next car, it's a whole thing. Is it not, Dylan? You're sort of the...
The point man.
Yeah, I'm the point man on this one. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. But yes, a current lease, it's a mid-size Lexus, which actually we were just talking about is getting the nicks. They're no longer making that.
No, that was the RC.
Oh,
the
RC,
RC.
that's right.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
right.
RC. Sorry. Yeah, you did stun me there. I was
I
like,
was going
what?
to say, that's their best seller. So
Yeah.
for them to be doing that, it's a bit suicide. But
Yeah, no, absolutely. So this is the SUV, the 350.
RX.
Made
RX.
here proudly in Cambridge.
Is that what they're made?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the Corolla.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, they build the Corolla and the RX.
Wow.
That's it.
Interesting.
Sorry, I didn't mean to derail that.
It's
So
good shinfo.
Canada represent.
Yeah.
yeah, so 3-year lease coming up soonish. We'll call it that.
Yep.
I think about $1,000 a month right now payment. We're gonna try to look for something less.
Okay.
Same size,
Oh.
maybe not the same make,
Level of
model,
luxury.
Caliber.
Trim level.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Are we-
Something's
uh,
got to give, right?
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to keep
Budget?
the price the same.
What's the budget? Stay around the same or a little less?
I think we'd like to drop it.
Okay.
That's what I'm hearing on the street.
Kids and dogs included in this?
No kids, no dogs.
Okay.
Nope. A few things in the back, but roughly the same size, same creature comforts.
Okay.
So maybe a couple things to...
Yes.
These are top tip of consumer advice. I mean, one, this car was purchased in 2022 for context, or leased
Correct.
in 22, right?
Yep.
So at that time, interest rates had not done what they are at now. So leases were much more attractive. And certainly in the US, the lease deals that exist there just don't here. I mean,
Those lease deals are unbelievable.
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
US.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we sort of suffer through this, but it makes sense if you have a business and then you can write off some expenses or what have you. But ultimately, I think what your friend is going to find is right now the market is not as friendly. Like there's certainly discounts to be had, but leases in general, residuals are falling, interest rates are higher, both of which are going to impact your lease. So I think we are going to have to stomach going down in sort of luxury level.
Can I just interject? Talk to me like I'm going to pull a Michael Scott here. Talk to me like I'm 5. A residual is...
Oh, so you know what? Maybe what's better here, because a smart friend of ours once told me, I like to get into the details. When we've leased a number of vehicles and I look at the residual, which is what the car is going to be worth at the end.
Okay. Yeah.
And that largely determines or partly determines what your payment is going to be.
Okay.
So the difference between your your cost of the car, less so you're leasing that amount plus interest, basically.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So our smart friend said, don't overcomplicate it. What is that car going to cost you when you sign on the dotted line for the period of time you're going to have it, be it 3 years, 39 months, 4 years? How much money are you going to pay them? Is it 30 grand? Is it 40 grand? Is it 45?
Right.
And he said, so the details ultimately don't matter. If you're comfortable, shelling out
fair
that
enough.
amount
Okay,
either
yep.
yearly or monthly
Yep.
or like just, so maybe we could boil it down to that. So I think what we should do maybe is just go around and having those variables in mind. We don't have to get into what, lease rates are, what they're going to have, but what are some options that
The vehicle to replace that.
Yeah, sure.
And again, $1,000. We want to keep it 1,000 or less. But hop into a new car.
I think we'd try to go even
Lower.
lower.
Okay,
So
yeah, fair enough.
maybe 8.
Okay, fair
and
enough.
less.
Yeah.
Or
you're saying we, but it's not you. It's
no,
a friend
no,
of a
it's
friend
not.
of a friend.
No, yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm saying we as the collective.
Oh, we the collective.
We
I'm
here
sorry,
at
the
table
royal
would like
we
to
at
keep
this
it
table.
lower.
Okay, yeah, okay.
And I'll throw a wrench in there, and I'll say could purchase,
Okay.
Okay.
and let's say a downstroke of 15,000.
So purchase her own, not the lease that this individual's getting out of. Purchase any vehicle.
Purchase a new
Okay.
vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
But keep in mind, the 15 grand down, that same monthly would be applied.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
So you can
that gets you quite a car
Yeah.
then. Because I was going to say, can't you just like, my immediate reaction as a Tiguan owner is just like, isn't the Tiguan just like the logical, like it's $42,000 and you're out the door?
So that was one of mine.
Okay, sorry.
Good thing I had a list because that was one of mine
I'm
too.
sorry. I didn't mean to steal that from you.
That's hilarious.
But
So
it's
that's
like
three of us.
Because the size of the Tiguan sort of it kind of swings outside its normal.
Punches above its weight.
Yeah.
class.
Yeah, it really does.
I agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
And I think, what is it called? What's the lower one? The trend line?
Trend
No, I don't think they do trend line anymore. I think it's gone. Comfort line is the bottom.
okay.
I don't think you want to buy a trend line. Let's put it that way. But
No.
you're right.
Yeah.
Comfort line with, I think, the black pack, which is similar to what you have.
Yeah.
Or, then there's Highline, R-Line, et cetera. But to your point, like, it's a reasonably priced vehicle. The residuals, so they don't, get killed in the used market.
Right.
So that helps you in a leasing situation. The 4-cylinder engine that is ubiquitous to all Volkswagens now is one of probably the best in the world. It's, been out there for 15 years or more. I mean, it's developed to the nth degree.
Yes. The EA 888, isn't that what it is?
Correct. We're
Yeah,
on Gen
yeah.
4 now.
Right. Okay. Sorry. I didn't realize EA 888-4.
There you go. And I think that and I'm sure some of us are going to maybe pitch one of these, but if you drive a Tiguan back to back with, let's say, a Mazda product or a Honda product, I think you'll find, even though they still compete in price, there's just there's something there in terms of sophistication and refinement. I think you'll find in the Tiguan that you won't find in a CRV, for example.
Yeah. Fair enough. I think that's fair.
Yeah.
But-
no matter what, you're getting a lot of plastic.
Oh yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I'm
that's
okay
anything
with
these
that.
days.
Yeah, I would say at that price point, having owned many Volkswagens, what you get is the front door cards are usually a nice rubber,
Yep.
and the back door cards are plastic.
falls
And
apart,
I
yeah.
remember when that actually changed. Having owned lots of Volkswagens, it was offensive to me. Really, until I sat there and I was like, "Who cares?" Like
Yeah.
it makes no difference at all. I have another reaction for a vehicle. What's a Hyundai? The new Defender-esque Santa Fe. What is it worth? Is it a $50,000 car?
I don't know. I can't get around.
To be
the
honest
design.
with you, I didn't. What'd you say?
I can't get around the design.
I know.
I like how you snuck that in, like you were trying to like hide it.
Yeah.
I know. It's
I
quite
agree.
the looking
It's-
vehicle.
Yeah, but it's on trend. There's people buying it. They're
well-
everywhere.
Then what's that GV, like the Aston Martin SUV looking like?
Was it
The
the
GV70?
I think. I thought of them. I didn't get enough
yeah, I
time
like that.
to
Yeah,
to
but it's
get
a lot
into
of
the
money.
pricing.
Is
Yeah,
it?
I think
A
they're
lot of
65-ish.
Yeah, or more.
Okay,
and
that's
they,
not
and they
bad.
start with a
That's-
4-cylinder.
Right.
That's a key attribute. I think the Santa Fe is also going to be a 4-cylinder. I can't imagine
I'm
they're
gonna
shoving a
assume so.
6-cylinder in there. Yeah. I don't want to sound like a Volkswagen fanboy, but that feels logical. The Santa Fe was
Yeah.
the other one. What's the Kia equivalent of that? Is there still a?
I didn't even look.
Is there still a Sportage?
Maybe the Telluride, maybe.
Oh yeah,
That's-
Telluride. I like.
Yeah,
That's a nice looking car.
Yeah, it's a big one, but it's a big
nice
one.
Yeah, I was going to say that competes against the Atlas, which
Okay.
would be but yeah.
Yes,
nice
but it
car.
would compete in the price point for
true.
sure.
Yeah.
Because it would
True.
probably be in that 50 to 60 range.
Yep.
And the Lexus would have been 65. There's no question. Lexus charges a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's 70,
It was 63
75 I think I looked
That's
on
a
the
lot.
configurator.
That's
now.
a lot.
Oh,
of
now,
money.
yeah.
Like
So I was
now,
gonna say, I
you
think-
would buy that exact car now. It's 75. Yeah.
And they probably don't look any different.
I'd hate to throw the Audi Q3 in there.
It's probably too small, though. No?
Small.
Yeah.
Too
Yeah.
small. Probably in that price range.
Yeah.
And
Uses the
same
same
thing as the
drivetrain.
Tiguan and Audi. I don't know if I could stand the infotainment in those cars. I'm out. I'm just out.
He's bitter. He's bitter.
I'm better.
I wrote down to, and full disclosure, I haven't driven it, but I think that, well, a couple of the Mazda products, SUVs in particular, are handsome looking cars. They have now the CX-90, which
Yep.
is a good looking big thing.
That's the big thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
and I
yeah.
think there's a 70 that's either coming out or is out. It sort of splits the
I
difference.
don't know that.
But I wrote down the CX-50.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
a good looking car.
They do look good.
Yeah.
It's a very handsome
Yeah.
car. I was on the configurator. They have it in a new color called Cypress, which is a nice green. It's actually similar to the shirt that Dylan is wearing.
Let's go with sage green. You good
Yeah.
with that? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sagey.
Yeah.
And I you know, the price wise, it would certainly be less than that a month. It was a reason, 40-ish something MSRP. And then I guess
That's pretty cheap.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought so. And you
think-
can get it in 4-cylinder NA, which I wouldn't recommend. I'd probably put the turbo on it because they're
I have no idea.
It'd be
historically,
pretty lackluster.
they're always underpowered. They finally have sort of, because forever they wouldn't go to forced induction, right? They said, oh no, we can do this efficiently, but the reality is you're always working this thing to 100%. It never got great fuel economy, so now they're putting turbos on them, and that's probably what I'd go with. But
You've obviously never driven a Tiguan. Because
Well-
it still has a turbo and it's still slow.
you got to call up APR. You can solve that.
It just does not have the. I always tell people you buy a Tiguan for its size, practicality, comfort. But if you want something that's got power, that's not your
not
car. No.
The other selling feature on the CX-50 is it has a 6-speed automatic transmission.
Right, okay.
And the word CVT are not in there.
Okay.
So,
Right.
good.
I think the CX-50 looks really good. I'm always sort of iffy on Mazda. I love the Miata, but I don't really like their. I don't want to buy one. I'm afraid of them. I'm afraid something's going to go wrong. I'm afraid of depreciation. I'm
Yeah.
afraid of something. Miata seems sort of insulated from that.
we have to convert you though, because your mindset and your experience is buying.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
that problem with the lease, right?
Oh,
It's like,
no, okay, fair enough. That's fair. But
Yeah,
we
and
did
that's-
also reference that she could buy it. But
True.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. That's a fair point. Yeah.
I agree with that though.
I actually have a question for you because you say we've leased many vehicles. You've leased them personally.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about leasing versus buying and where we sort of sit on this. So I would say growing up and was always of the belief that unless you have a business that you can write down some of these expenses or make a go of it, in most cases leasing is not a good financial decision. That's what people will tell you.
Yeah, and honestly, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm interested.
So I've certainly subscribed to that. I purchased my car back in all of my cars, but the one I still have today, I purchased it back in 2017. What we started to realize when we looked at other vehicles through COVID, cars were not depreciating really at all. And interest rates were extremely low. So the lease rates became more attractive. So we benefited from basically driving a vehicle. The manufacturers set the residual value in all cases that we had for the last 3 years. When we went to go sell the vehicles, were worth much more than the residual. So not only were we driving the vehicle for a reasonably cheap monthly price or annual price or whatever you want to put it, we're basically, there's money on the hood when you went to go do the next one. So it was impossible to really.
So what does that mean? You would buy it and then resell it for more money?
Well, so we didn't have to do that. I mean, the
Okay,
dealers
okay.
wanted your cars
Oh, I
because
see what
it
you
was
mean.
low
Okay.
inventory, and they say
Yeah.
the residual on your car is $40,000. We're prepared to offer you $45,000 today.
Oh, wow.
And we'll put that $5,000 towards your next lease, and you can
Okay.
have a new car,
Yeah.
and your payment goes down. So it's like, well, okay.
Yeah,
And,
no brainer.
and I'm a person who, as these guys know this, but I mean, on my phone, there's an app that tracks every single cent and expense I've had on my car, plus every single fuel stop and the price I
You
paid.
nerd.
So, yeah. So
He's
I mean,
not lying.
I can tell you, and I just looked at this before, that if I take the purchase price of my car, since I've owned it, I've spent $7,500 on miscellaneous things, be it services, oil changes, a set of brakes,
Right.
one set of tires, other little things. I do a lot of this stuff myself, so I have saved some money from that respect. But if I add all that up, purchase price plus the cost to run the car, not including insurance, not including fuel, because those things are presumably equal.
Yeah.
You know, the annual cost isn't that much less than what a lease payment would be. And so unless you're going to keep that car for 7, 8, 10 years, I would say I've kind of been converted to come around and say there is actually some benefits to having either a new car that's always under warranty. You can keep it for the term. Sometimes you can get out of it early and get something else. And if you're a person who's interested in having something different, not wanting to keep a vehicle for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, which is a long time, explore leasing. So I've sort of been converted a bit on this.
Wow, that was interesting.
So presumably, though, the residuals are going to start to really fall.
Yeah. So I think, again, it won't matter so much. Like, think about all the people who went into Porsche dealerships 2 years or 3 years ago now when the Taycan got launched. All of the salespeople said, "Oh, you don't want to buy this. We don't know what the residuals are going to do. Lease it because it could be worth." And for a while there, they didn't look very smart because everything was high. Now they've taken an absolute shit. So people who leased it are thankful because they get to hand it back and say, "I don't care if it's worth $20,000 less than the residual.
Right.
It's yours."
Right.
So yeah, to some extent, like they're still the residuals will fall if they're not worth it. But if you're in a car now and it's 3 years from now worth less than they predict, that's not your problem.
See, I've always been a high mileage user of a car, so I never felt that leasing made sense. I just pushed it away. However, for my wife, who drives 16,000 kilometers a year, multiple times I thought, hey, you could probably lease a car. But I always kept saying to her, hey, the beauty of your Toyota is at least that you own it. Like, at least you own it. And it's a Toyota, so it's kind of like you don't have to worry about it. Yeah,
that is a big thing. There is a big difference between owning it.
Yeah. I also, what's a Toyota option? I'm just thinking because Lexus,
the Highlander.
It doesn't matter. I looked at their rates.
It does. Yeah, they're crazy.
Oh, my
okay,
Lord.
yeah.
7.5%.
Yeah, like 8%, almost 9%.
I'm not even sure what the RX would be comparable to in the Toyota world these days in terms of size. Like,
would Highlander?
But the Highlander's quite big now. Is it bigger than the RX?
Yeah,
I think it'd be comparable. It's like the RX would be bigger than the RAV4, right? And that would be the next step down.
Right.
Agreed. Like in Toyota land, I think it is more Highlander than RAV4.
Right. Well, that's interesting. Okay. Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
It is a very good point. I mean, that's something you can't overlook. Like, if you are somebody who drives more than 20,000 kilometers a year or 25, like you really just can't lease because it just doesn't make financial sense.
Yeah, I actually was in Montreal last week and I talked to a buddy who has a Audi Q5. The top below the S, so whatever that is, it's probably like yours, right?
Yep.
And he leased it, and I was like staggered. Like I'm like, hold on, you got 73,000 kilometers on this in 18 months.
Oh my God!
And he was like, yeah, but he made some expression that okay, the price I'm going to buy the car for at the end is so good, and then I'm going to move that to my girlfriend, and I'm going to drive her car for the next period of year or two. So he's like, we can get longer out of two cars than we would if I was just moving through one and switching mine out. And I have given that thought with my work car. Like I'm like, okay, we'll swap my wife into that, and I'll take her car, and I'll put. But anyway, the Audi, like he was 73,000 kilometers in 18 months. His lease is 90,000 kilometers over 3 years. So
he's paid a bunch up front. Then I'm guessing.
I don't know.
Yeah, either that or I think he might be living 24 months ago mentality. Like I'm not sure that math will hold up. In a year or two, but
he said I'm just going to buy this car because the price is so good, and I'm going to give it to my girlfriend. She's going to drive it for another 3 years. And I was like, oh, okay, cool, whatever, you know.
And I'm interested in hanging out for this one. We're going to follow up with him in another 2 years.
Yeah, he's a good dude. Yeah, I see him on a regular basis. Yeah, I'm sure he loves this Audi. He said it's a great road warrior car because he's putting miles on it, and he's like, it's
he doesn't have yours.
Yeah.
And I was in it twice, and it seemed
he
good.
doesn't use the radio at all. Or sit in the same position.
I think you got a lemon, I think, which is too bad. But
we loved our last one.
Yeah.
We loved it.
Well, look, I'm not sure we're providing the most sound advice, but I think you've got options. You got the Mazda CX-50, the Hyundai Santa Fe, the Tiguan.
I'm going to throw two more in there.
Telluride.
By all means,
go.
The Cadillac CT5, I think it is.
Isn't that a car?
No.
They
SUV.
renamed it.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
I can't keep track.
I can't remember what that
They're
was
like
called
61 grand if you don't option
that's
them up.
pretty reasonable.
So not
Okay.
bad.
Yeah,
Good looking car.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I've been
think
away
it's
from domestics for too long, so I don't know the...
It's an XT. Someone's right around the car.
That makes more
XT5?
sense.
Car
That
is a
sounds more.
CT.
Yeah.
CT?
They have an
XT5?
XT4, and I do think they have an XT5.
But the
you
new
guys
one
are
won't
making
have
me-
CarPlay, right? They got rid of it.
What?
Really?
Yeah, right? I'm not crazy,
don't
right?
know.
Like
I don't
Chevy
know.
got rid of CarPlay.
No, I don't.
You have to use their software.
I think I did hear that, but that's so. I mean, that seems like again,
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for that reason, I'm out.
carry on though. Sorry, Mike,
Yeah.
but you're right. That is a good looking car. But
It's a good looking car.
agreed,
I
agreed.
don't know what the depreciation will be over the next few years.
Right.
And service, like domestics go through brakes like nobody's business.
No, that's interesting because
Do
they're all
they?
because they're all heavy
Yeah.
on the front.
yeah. Like
That is a
20 to 30K, you're putting brakes on them. So,
yikes.
so to talk
wow.
about your driving habits, Mike, I've never experienced
well, my work car, my Equinox, it's awesome, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
But I haven't put brakes on it yet, so we'll see.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah,
What's your
the next
second
one is the Mercedes that we rented in California, the GLC.
The GLC, yeah, that's a nice car.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know
that's a
what's
nice
so
car.
funny? They have the best lease rates by far.
Is that right?
Out of anybody.
What are we to read into that? What does that tell us that sales are slow? Is that the idea?
I'm gonna guess so.
Okay.
And there's
Because
lots
they
of
were
them, I
like
think.
1.99%.
The
that is pretty good.
2.99.
The mid-size, right? Because with the GLA or the GL, there's a smaller one,
Yeah,
right? It's just-
GLK.
Hold on. Let's just not waste time trying
Yeah,
to
not-
decipher the
not
Mercedes
the-
nomenclature
not
because
the
it is a
tiny one.
disaster.
Is it the same size as the
Not the
RX?
like Subaru Forester
No,
looking
no,
one.
no. This is a
The real
Q5
SUV.
rival.
Yeah.
Q5.
Yeah.
No, those are
probably the
good-looking
RX
cars.
Yeah.
350 rival.
You know what, though, Dylan? That car now
I never
is
thought about this. Good call, Mike.
6 or 7 years old. I think it's probably due for a full-blown refresh, which
Yeah,
be
you might be
part
at the
of-
very end. That's
But
maybe why
who cares?
it's at that
Exactly.
lease rate.
And I do know they've evolved it because
Yes.
the one we rented when we rented it was like a 23.
Yep.
And when we saw a new one, it was it was like an evolution. You could see that they'd smoothed out the body, they changed the wheels. They were worried about drag coefficient, probably because their fleet fuel efficiency needed a boost.
Yeah.
You could tell the difference. I thought that was a nice
But,
car.
yeah,
very
luxury
pleasant.
car.
I think
Yeah.
they're
Decent
very,
money.
very handsome cars.
Yeah. It's good looking.
The last, last one for me, I'll say, is I did look at, I think everybody knows somebody who either worked for Ford or has X plan or has A plan or has Z plan. I mean, discounts, you can go right now to the dealership and buy a Ford Escape. They got $5,000 in the hood. If you have somebody that either used to work there or you have it yourself, X plan, you're probably going to get another $2,500 off. And
Sorry, what is an X plan?
so Ford X plan is like, they give it out like candy, but
Okay.
He's not wrong.
if an employer has any affiliation or any
Oh, I
organization
see.
has
I
some
see.
affiliation with Ford, they'll
Yes,
say,
okay.
here, give this code. And then you walk into the dealer and you give
see.
it to them. And it's like invoice plus 0.4%.
Oh,
or
okay,
something.
that's
Like,
interesting.
It's a really easy way to buy a car because there's no negotiation after
Exactly.
that. You're still eligible for all of the discounts that
Right.
the factory's offering.
And from the vendor side, it's an easy way to move units.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a Ford Escape is not a terrible product in my view.
But is the Escape too small?
Yeah, it's pretty small now.
Yeah,
It's
do
quite
they-
small.
and
man.
the
See, I was
Explorer?
looking at the Explorer.
Yeah,
You
okay.
You want to
yeah.
see the rates on that?
Is it
oh
bad?
my god,
Or cheap?
Good or bad?
bad. They're
Oh,
like
really?
6.5.
Well, they just launched a new
7?
version, to be fair, so that's
I
probably
just-
why.
Yeah, but you can go
Yeah.
walk in and get an F-150 at 0%.
I was going to ask:
Right.
is there an
Man.
F1? Is there an F-150 and then like could this person conceivably drive a pickup truck and go to like a $60,000
Yeah, work
F-150?
I don't think the look would be there.
It's
but,
not the right thing. Okay,
but
okay.
it could be because
Yeah.
it can be had for you get an STX or whatever they call it nowadays.
Yeah.
It's $150 a week.
She could buy a used Macan.
So I started this
They-
research
they
on
really
Macans,
So did,
collapse.
but
so did I.
Oh, really? Ooh, I didn't realize this. We did not pre-discuss this.
then we were sort of
God, we hang out too much.
we were sort of pushed to reduce the budget a bit. I found myself going to be right at the budget or slightly more, so
So
I moved
did I.
away from that. So
Okay. Well,
Unless you
Yeah.
get into like a
If not, I
2016.
said, yeah, you can go
right,
older.
yeah.
I said, or buy a Volvo
Yeah.
XC.
oh yeah.
Oh, that's another
yeah.
excellent.
Yeah.
I sort of passed over that, but you're right.
You can get a pretty new one,
And they're
right? Like
and
maybe
they're
a what?
cheap, 1 or 2 years out. Ooh,
One,
they're
yeah, I was
really
gonna
cheap.
say 1 year old, 2
They're
years old.
amazing.
It's like all of a sudden
premium
it's like
fuel though.
Does it? Yeah, because
Yeah.
it uses that like super
And a Macan would
and
as well.
hybrid or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah,
So-
30 cents at the pump every
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I
guess,
think
whatever.
just a quick insert. Our Instagram has reached over 100 followers,
Yep.
and which is a big deal. So now we've got a good group of people to put out a poll. We'll put all the models we've landed on.
Oh, good.
And we'll create a poll. I don't know how many you can put on the poll, but
I
let's
don't know.
see if
We're
we can
gonna
get
find
4 or
out.
5
4
of
or
these
5.
models, and we will respect the results of the poll.
Yeah.
So
I think we leave it to the people.
Yeah, exactly.
two final things, because we said this is going to be good consumer advice, and to Ryan's point, I'm not sure we've done anything helpful here except finish our drinks and have some good chatter. But two things I'll say. don't just give when it is time to trade this thing back or hand it back.
Consult
whatever,
Sean.
do not just give it to the dealer.
Nope.
It's probably worth a little bit more than the residual, particularly if you bought it
It's definitely worth
back
more
then.
than residual.
And you should either negotiate to get that money for yourself or sell it to somebody else.
Yeah,
The
fair
second thing is dealerships are hungry. Do not pay MSRP. There are deals to be had. There's money to be had off. Don't assume the price that is there or the price they give you on the sheet of paper when they hand it over is the price you have to pay, because you don't. They will definitely discount it. There's definitely money to be had off. So
I like your enthusiasm, but my only argument is that these people haven't realized it yet. They're all like some
I
of them
think
have realized it. Some
It's
of them
funny,
are trying
you
to
go into
hold
some
out.
dealerships.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I've heard this from many people. BMW here in London likes to deal.
No, that's good to know.
But the margins on so we're talking about two different worlds. Like if you go in a Volkswagen, I don't know if they make 6-8%. Like maybe they give you 3-4% off. If you go to BMW, their margins are much higher. Like they would probably.
Oh yeah,
take
but like
nothing
I mean, just within the same realm
Oh yeah.
of dealers.
Oh.
wow.
Are you trying to tell us that
That
you're
they're-
looking into buying a
Nope,
BMW?
nope,
okay,
not at
okay.
all.
I was
Not at all.
picking up an undertone.
Nope, not at
Okay,
all.
okay.
But I have heard that they are the most willing to work with you.
Interesting.
They want to sell cars.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I don't know. It's something to think about.
Yeah, you don't always have to buy in the city you're in too.
No, fair enough.
true.
Yeah.
People
Let's put the models down
that.
on Instagram. I
Yeah.
think that's worth it. What we've landed on, we'll write them down. I think it's a good idea.
I think so too.
The last subject, which was a listener request, was someone. I find this amazing, but someone actually cared for our opinions on the Ineos Grenadier. So I'm going to
all
open this up. There's a
chuckling.
bunch of odd looking faces in here at the moment. So I'm going to open it up to everybody. We can
Mike, I want to hear you first.
yeah, we can try to hit it in order. Do you want to go through
for
your,
it, Mike.
your
I
overall
don't
thoughts
have
or
overall thoughts. I don't have many on this. I've seen them when I was in Australia. I've seen lots of them on the road.
Really?
Lots. Probably 50 of them.
wow?
Over the course of
I've
2
seen
weeks.
one on the road, and it was a dealer.
So I thought they were Chinese at first. My brother said, no, they're this.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh, cool. I think they're kind of cool looking. If like Defender, I love. So I don't know much about them. I think the exterior looks good. Interior, not so much. Lots of buttons, switches. I like that
Yeah.
they're actual physical buttons,
Right.
not a touch screen. I do like that.
Somebody's still sour about their Q5. but-
Yeah, still, but I don't know. I think for what are we talking? 100-ish, 100
More
Yeah,
in most
yeah, yeah.
cases, but yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
top line is 112, 113. Bottom, I believe, was 96.
Okay.
Because you don't really get much options. Like you don't get to change much, right? You buy this model, you get this. You buy this model, you get this.
Yep.
There's not really too much play. Which
Interesting.
I'm going to be honest, I don't mind that.
BMW drivetrain.
Right. So they got.
we only get the gas one. Am I right on that?
yeah. We
Yeah,
get
I don't think North America gets diesel
Yes,
at all.
in general, I find that silly. If I'm going to buy a big, heavy live axle, off roader, I'm quite happy to have the torque of a diesel. That's a
It's
bizarre
big
choice,
and it's
but
only a 3-liter.
It is. It's the
Yeah.
BMW
280
3
horse
liter
or something?
straight six.
something like that. Yeah,
It's mated to the ZF,
ZF.
probably
It'll be
8
ZF.
speed. And
Yeah.
I mean, if when you look in the cabin, everything is bespoke to Ineos except for the shift
Yeah.
lever,
Yeah,
which is
oh my
clearly
God,
BMW.
dog.
I immediately
but-
recognize it, and it's that very confusing BMW lever that you
Right.
can't tell quite what it does.
Am I in park? Am
Yeah,
I
it's
in,
like
Yeah.
kind of a flight simulator
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to
It
describe
looks so bizarre.
Yeah.
It does look out of place in there. I mean, so
Oh, I have a desperate comment for the interior.
go for it.
Go. Yeah.
The steering wheel. I don't understand a 2-spoke steering
ugly.
wheel.
Yeah.
I don't
What
get
about the
it.
2 horns?
I don't.
Yeah, the
I
polite
just-
horn and then get the heck
Oh,
out
I'll
of
be
the
honest.
way
I
horn.
didn't know that was a thing.
Oh, yeah.
But I was so distracted by the 2 spokes, and I want to make the reference. It reminds me so much of driving like a base Fiat 500.
Yep.
That I'm like, why did I just spend $100,000 on this SUV to have a Fiat 500 steering wheel in my hand? It's offensive to me. And another car that's offensive to that? Genesis. Their steering
yeah.
wheels are awful. I don't understand it.
Yeah, they've got like a 6-inch sort of brick down the middle of the.
It's just
steering wheel. It's-
weird.
like
So
a
Ineos, the steering wheel is weird. It's out of place.
930 Porsche-esque.
Yeah, kind
Ish.
of. Only
Yeah.
but it doesn't
Yeah, but
have
they're
the
a little
holes
more
in it.
dainty.
Yeah.
Yes, agreed with that. Yeah.
So first of all, I guess I have 2 minds about this. I don't know who the car is for. I mean, Mike, I didn't know this, but it's interesting. It sounds like places like Australia. I mean, obviously the UK have a love affair and have had with Defender, and obviously, you know, if you're a farmer there or if you're somebody who's out in the sticks, I mean, this maybe makes a lot of sense. But here in Canada, like if you live on a farm, if you work on a farm, you drive a pickup truck. Nobody, I don't think anybody is going to go buy an Ineos from probably the one dealership that's in Ontario. There is actually a dealership in it's Dixie Ineos, which is Mississauga, Etobicoke, whatever that is.
Could you have this service at BMW? Like, is that a thing?
Oh, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, certainly if you needed to plug it in and see what's wrong with the engine, they'd probably sort you out. But
I don't think it'd be worth it for
think-
BMW to offer that.
Yeah,
I
service.
think this is going to appeal to the hockey mom, soccer mom who really wants a G-Wagen,
Yeah.
but
Isn't ready to commit.
doesn't have the extra 150 on top of
That's
that.
interesting, Mike, because I thought the same thing. Someone downtown Toronto who's got money, who's going to their cottage every weekend. This is like, it's G-Wagen light,
Yep.
and it looks the part. When you're coming towards one, honestly, they got that ring headlight thing. Like, it really does look G-Wagon-y until you're close up, and then you're like, oh, wait, it's just a budget version.
I can see that, but so I mean, when I say I have two minds about it, like I am struggling to see, and you're right, there will be some of those people who buy it, but I think it is so hardcore in terms of its utilitarianism.
Yes.
Those people who think they wanted it, I think in 3 months after owning it, they're going to get this thing the hell out of my
So
garage.
you're,
Like,
yeah, fair
you're saying
enough, yeah.
lease it.
well, yeah, for 12 months. Or,
Also, a random insertion. What is the soccer mom going to do when there's no mirror on the sun visor? No mirrors on sun
Oh,
visors.
my wife
Really?
gets so mad.
Yeah, that's just silly. Like, this is 2025, man. Like,
For me,
we've
shout
had
out
this.
Dollarama, like $1.25. There
you go.
A little bit of double-sided tape.
Hold on, you
you're
just
done.
spent $100,000 on your.
I'm driving an old Cayenne though, so
Yeah,
there is one I saw, which was kind of cool. So, I mean, the looks exterior, I agree with you. It looks cool. I've seen them on, you can buy them brand new on like a set of steel wheels.
Yep.
I saw one that was made to be basically a Jurassic Park truck.
Oh, really? Oh, that's fun.
I haven't
That's
seen
cool.
that
Yeah,
one.
that's
Yeah,
fun.
so I was like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that's fun. But
Yeah.
like, again, am I going to pay $100,000 for that? No, I don't think so. And the interior is very, very sparse.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of dig, like you said, Mike. I mean, it honestly feels like a 747. I go back to this button pushing fighter jet thing all the time. Like, that does appeal to me. There's all these toggle switches on the roof.
it'd be hard not to get in and be like thinking Goose is
Right.
behind you.
I mean, the center console's full of all these buttons, and so that part's cool. But apparently, one of the big complaints of this vehicle is you're driving it, and you have this. There's no real screen, but there's like instruments, let's call it, in the middle. You have nothing in front of you. There's no speedo. There's no tack. I mean, then you have the steering wheel look at, which to Ryan's point is
it's hideous,
really bizarre.
And,
Yeah.
and I'm desperate now to insert the no gauge pod thing. If it was digital, I'm okay with it. Even though I hate digital gauges, it is what it is. It reminds me of the first gen Toyota Echo, and I'm like, why?
It didn't have any gauges at it.
No, there was 3 gauges in the center of the dash. They were never in front of the driver. And to me, it always just screamed low end. And I'm not complaining about the Toyota Echo. It's a nice car. If you're looking for a city commuter at $13,000 back in those days.
Yeah.
You know, I just think it's just weird. I drove one and I don't like having to it's like driving a Tesla Model 3. Why do I have to turn my head to the side all the time to understand what's going on in the car? It's weird.
Somehow Mini has gotten away with that for 15
Yeah,
years.
I was totally just
I
going to say
don't
that.
like it at all.
No, I
yeah,
think
no, I
it's-
never did.
No, yeah.
I love minis in principle. I love them. I just can't do that. I don't like it at all. I wanted to comment on the ladder. Is the ladder a standard thing, or is it one of
Depends on
those
what
like
model you
many?
get.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
That's what I said. Like, you either I don't remember the
No, I know.
models.
Oh,
either.
I have a comment on that. I thought as a marketing pitch, I thought their model names were actually pretty clever. Like, they're all something master. So there's the
like Quartermaster.
Trial Master,
Yeah.
the Quartermaster, which is very James Bondy, and I like that. There's 3 or 4 models that are all called something Master, and I actually thought that was pretty clever. Like, I'm like, well, at least we can follow their business. Like, unlike BMW, who's just lost it.
Right.
Like, I know your models now.
they
They're
come
all
with-
Ineos.
And a bunch of them come with KO2s.
Yeah, totally.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great tire. Yeah. Anyway, I thought the ladder was kind of funny because I was imagining all the people, as Mike said, in Toronto. And you're like, oh, you're sitting in traffic on the 401. Oh, do you want to see what's going on? No problem. Just climb your ladder and have a look. You'll
Right.
see a kilometer
Yeah.
ahead of you.
And if you're still sitting in that traffic, the back door has a table on it.
Oh, I didn't know that. Must
Yeah,
be an
nice.
option.
No?
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay. Interesting.
Fold down table.
I wrote down that I thought roof switches was full on jet fighter.
Right.
I was
Yeah.
like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is.
And I like how it's got like the little bars around the hazard.
Oh,
Like,
yes,
like
it's
so you
the-
can't like
yeah,
hit it
yeah.
kind of thing.
You mean around each little switch?
It's like a little
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It's like your missile button, right?
Split rear door. I'm
Yeah,
torn
I
on that.
I kind of like it on that,
kinda
on
like
that
it,
vehicle. I
yeah.
think it really fits.
To be honest, does it split?
Splits,
It's like
a Range
70-30.
70-30.
70-30.
Oh, yeah, it was tiny,
Side
though.
like, and the
it kinda
side
goes like
that's
this.
wider has the tire on it.
Oh, so it's not like Range Rover splits like 2/3 of the trunk goes up and then a third
No.
goes
This
down.
is a vertical split.
Okay, I got
And
you.
I was thinking if you have the tire on there and the metal structure of the two doors, your rear visibility must not be great.
No,
It's
sure.
gonna be awful.
Yeah. Which is there's some element of like novelty to that, but at some point you're going to want to see what's behind you.
Do you?
Well, I mean, if you were backing it up, for example.
Toronto drivers
Yeah.
don't look in their rearview mirrors now. Why would they start if they had a $100,000 Ineos?
I have seen one, and to your point, it was you were earlier mentioning like a farmer might buy this. The only one that I saw that wasn't dealer plated was in St. Mary's, that little town, and it was clearly like a farm vehicle.
Yeah.
And I was kind of impressed that there was a farmer with the taste that was like, wow, you committed to this. Like
Yeah.
that's a real. It was sort of a chalky color.
I wonder, is it
Porsche-ish.
called Magic Mushroom?
Is that one of the
that's
colors?
one of the
what it's
color
called.
names.
The
Is it?
color names are hilarious.
Oh no, I didn't know that.
What is
Yeah.
it? Icky black?
Yeah, inky black. Inky black.
Inky black,
Oh,
that's what it's
inky
called.
black.
Yeah.
Okay.
Scottish white was one of them.
Okay. This looked like chalk to me.
I
Yeah,
thought-
it'd probably be the Magic Mushroom, I think.
Yeah,
it's
that's
called.
what it's called.
Yeah, interesting. I don't know. I find them.
A lot of two-tone paint options.
Oh,
too.
really?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
I
You
didn't
can
know
get
that.
the top
Okay.
done in.
Yeah.
Just
Go
Magic
all
mushroom.
black wheels.
Yeah, as two guys that have off-roady-ish Cayennes, I mean,
Yeah.
are sort of in that
Ish.
world adjacent. Like, could you see yourself driving one of these?
I could.
Cost aside.
I could.
That is an interesting question, Sean, because I asked myself that question, and the only vehicle that I would, like, I was considering if I was looking at that car, the only other one I would probably look at is the Defender, because they're
Right.
really the two
Yeah,
that are
yeah.
in my price point at a
Yep.
everyday SUV
Yeah.
level, and I found myself. Even knowing how legendarily unreliable JLR is, still wanting to go that direction.
Really?
There was a pull. I was like, yeah, I just like it better. I like its gauge design. I like its interior. I like its steering wheel.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You know?
I had that same thought. I'd be right in the same camp with you.
Yeah.
I have to believe, not having driven either of them, that Defender from Land Rover has to be way more refined, even though it's still a bit sort
I
of
would hope so.
utilitarian. But like,
There is no guarantee.
Could you
but,
imagine?
but I think truly most people who bought these as like novelty pieces or a replacement for a Wrangler or a G-Wagon, to your point, I think that they would be shocked at how probably rough and tumble they are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I thought. Rather than the step down from the G-Wagon, is the step up from like
A Wrangler.
the Bronco,
Yeah,
whatever.
fair enough.
Broncos,
Yeah,
yeah.
And
That's an interesting
and the
angle.
Wrangler.
That's
Rather
interesting.
than I can't get to the G-Wagon, I'm
Yeah.
going to take this. Yeah.
As an owner of a 958 Cayenne, the only thing I see the Ineos having in common with the Cayenne is buttons.
Yeah.
And there's so many buttons. And I almost find the Ineos to be like, why do I need this many buttons?
What do
It's
they all
weird that
do?
there's like an equilibrium. You know?
That is a good question. I mean, apart from diff locks and
Yeah.
air suspension or whatever, I mean, I think they have the option of both. You can get fixed or air. if I'm
Yeah.
not
I don't know.
mistaken.
Yeah.
And then like lights, to your point, what
Yeah.
else are all these doing? But
Another thing when I watched multiple reviews of this vehicle, it's funny because having owned a 4Runner, which was like a 2016 car that was designed in like 2005.
Yeah.
It still has those rear seats where the bottom of the seat has to fold up before you can
Does
fold
it
the
really?
back of the seat down.
Oh, really?
And my immediate reaction was, holy crap, that's like old Toyota tech. And it works perfectly fine, but it does cut into
Yeah.
your trunk space or your folded trunk space dramatically because you've got the base of the seat, the thickness of that now vertical behind your driver's and passenger seats.
oh, I got okay. So
So it goes like this way and then this way.
Yeah.
It's really it's always one of those weird things because when we come to more modern vehicles, it's become so easy now, right? Pull one handle, the whole thing just flicks
Yeah.
down. It's flat floor. Yeah, I don't know. If they were 50 grand, I
if they're
think they
50
would be
grand-
really
Oh.
cool.
They'd be selling
If they
millions
were,
of
yeah,
them.
if they were 50 grand, they'd be flying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe one day they'll launch the Ineos Lite. You never know, whatever you want to call it, the Light Master.
Well, the CEO of the company, or the automotive division, 'cause
Yes.
Ineos is a bigger deal.
Yes, yes.
She did a podcast, and I think she shared that they do have obviously a pipeline of products. So they're trying to decide what that looks like.
Oh, really? Okay.
They're actually on the website.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay. There you
So
go.
yeah, so I went on the configurator just to make sure I somewhat knew what I was talking
yes,
about.
yes. You went farther than three of us.
Yeah,
Okay.
usually
Yeah.
I don't, but I did today. There is one other one that looks exactly like the Land Rover.
Oh, really?
Identical.
Is it
looks
the
so close.
proposed electric one, which they're not sure they're going to build yet? But
I don't think it was electric.
Okay.
But it just pretty much said, I don't know, essentially click here if you would buy this or you like this.
Oh,
Like,
really?
That's
Oh, they're probably
essentially
just
the
gauging.
data they're collecting.
Yeah, that's interesting. I only want to insert one more comment that I love the naming system, but the one that I find the most attractive visually is the Quartermaster, the pickup truck.
Yeah, the
really?
pickup truck's
I
pretty
think
cool.
it looks. Oh, I really like the look
Yeah,
of it.
I would never
It's
buy that one. I
No,
would buy the Trial Master, not
whatever
Trail
it is.
Master.
Yeah, it's
the
weird.
Trial
Yeah,
Master.
yeah. How it would pain me, but I would do the same. It would pain me because I think the pickup truck looks so cool.
Yeah.
But I would buy the
I think just
SUV.
usefulness.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, your goods are not out in the rain or snow or cold.
Yeah.
But-
I
in the
actually
house.
think the pickup version is it the Quartermaster?
It's called the Quartermaster.
I think it looks significantly worse than the.
Oh,
Why are you always dissenting?
I know.
Are you here
Wow.
to?
Yeah, no,
I mean,
I'm with you,
I don't
too.
like the
Like,
Gladiator,
the
like the
Jeep
Jeep one. I don't like that.
Oh
Gladiators,
no.
Horrible.
Well, and that's what exactly it reminds me of is the Jeep
Yeah.
Gladiator, which is another hideous.
See, to me, it reminds me of a pickup truck Defender,
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
which
what I got out
like.
of.
I like those.
Well, let's just put one more little tidbit. I think she shared, and hopefully I don't get this wrong, but the name, not like the Grenadier in particular.
Yes.
that came from the pub that this
You
idea
got it.
was hatched in.
Oh, I
Yeah.
have heard that story. I
Yeah.
think maybe I heard a clip of that on the internet somewhere.
I like these guys.
Right. That's.
Yeah.
I was a bit warmed in my heart when I heard that too. I was
Well,
like,
Yeah,
okay,
that's cool.
so let's go around the table. If they let's call it the 2-year return lease car. Okay. At 2 years return lease, if it was dropped from 100 and let's say 115,000 was the original purchase price, if you can pick it up at 70, would you do it?
I'd be all over it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Q5's worth that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So-
Yeah.
So the price wouldn't offend me.
Yeah.
But the use case, I know myself well enough that I would not enjoy basically dailing it, which is what I would own it for.
Yeah.
So no, I'd be out.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
I'm in.
Really?
Yeah.
In a daily use case. Like wipe the F-150, replace it, or buy it as a secondary?
See, I don't get that option.
Yeah, okay.
But let's put me in a normalish job where I don't need a pickup every day.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would.
No, that's good.
I
Okay,
think it's.
yeah.
I actually really like this car.
I'm with you, Dale.
I think you can break the tie here, or maybe make the. How's this going to go?
You said yes. You said no.
He said
he
yes.
said
so
yes.
I'm probably a no. Sorry.
Yeah. They don't make it in mint.
I mean that.
I think you
to
can
be
get it.
fair,
That
that would
one-
be awesome.
That one blue that they do,
It's
is really nice.
The thought has crossed my mind before that if I could find the most mint condition Cayenne, that if I could rip it apart and paint it, I probably would. But it would have to be a special one.
Yeah.
Like, and I would love to order a mint Macan GTS, but they won't do it.
wow.
Yeah, it's not on their list.
The, PTS colors at all, they won't.
They'll do Macan PTS, but certain colors aren't substrate approved. So whether they're painting on whatever surface they need to paint on, they can't get a color match.
That's too bad. I think they look fantastic.
I know. I would love to have a brand new Cayenne GTS in mint to tow around my race car in mint. It would be sweet. Yeah, that's me. You know me. I'd be happy to rock that.
With your mint New Balances on.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank
And
you.
look
I
at
really
it
appreciate
right
that you noticed
And the
that.
mint Honda scooter.
Exactly. Thank you. It's a nice ride. It's a nice, convenient way to get around.
100%.
Anyway, give us a follow on Instagram.
Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube.
Oh yeah, our YouTube channel. Yeah, we didn't post a video because we weren't happy with our video record on our previous one. So maybe one day you'll see our pretty faces.
I don't know.
on the
Maybe
internet.
somebody can help us out with that.
Yeah. If anyone's got any feedback on that, we need a good basic camera that's not an iPhone, and it needs to be reasonably priced because let's just be honest, we're not making any money.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, we're definitely not. We're definitely not making.
We got
any
a
money
long
with
way
this.
to go before
We do.
Spotify will
we only
let
have
us make
100
money.
subscribers on Insta. Let's get that up.
That's okay. That's all right. It's a good number. People
getting
are
there.
listening.
Mike's been peddling it. We'll get there.
I'm trying.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, the poll for the Lexus replacement will come. We got to do that. I think that'll be interesting to chat about.
Yep.
But anyway, anything else you want to drop in here?
No.
All
No,
good.
I thought it was good, boys.
Yeah.
We're calling it a night.
Calling
Consumer advice at its finest.
Exactly. See you guys.
Have a good night.
Bye.
Good night.